Okay, now I would
Thank
like
you.
Dr. Zakir sir to introduce our next guest.
Thank you, sir. So it's my privilege to introduce Dr. Ahmed Rimaz Faizabadi, our next speaker. Dr. Ahmed Rimaz Faizabadi is currently working in Deloitte as a lead AI specialist, having a rich experience of 20 years. He completed PhD degree in computer science and deep learning with the computer vision in the Department of Mechatronics, IIUM, Malaysia. He was an invitee at the SRI International Summer School for Formal Methods. He was also worked with the General Motors Research and Development India Science Laboratory, GMISL, and other industries of repute. He is a researcher with over 20 years of experience in research and development, teaching, and industry. He has published over a dozen peer-reviewed research articles and authored 2 books. He is a member of professional societies, SAEM. He has volunteered as the president of PGSA KOE IIUM 2019 to 22, the head of education research, PGSS IIUM 2020 to 2021, and as a treasurer in IEEE student branch IIUM 2021 to 2022. Society of Automotive Engineers Malaysia was awarded him on the outstanding student of 2021. So with this introduction, I request Dr. Ahmed Rimaz Faizabadi to continue the session. Thank you, sir.
Hello, good evening all. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let us have a few more poll, very short, quick polls online. Okay, I am launching the poll. Please do respond. Can you see the poll on the chat window?
Yes, sir.
I request all the participants to respond. Yes, please. It will be good if everyone respond to this. It will help us to tailor more meaningful.
Sir, it's not displaying in the chat box.
I think
You can send the link to us. We'll share it in the chat box, sir, in case.
no, it's through. I can see the responses. 30 notes have been already made. Okay. Can you see the new poll? The poll will come as a poll, not in the chat window. You can answer to all the polls which are live. Poll will come like this. You can click here and check the polls. Activities, polls, and go to the polls which are live. I request everyone to answer it once. I have nearly 146 participants, but I got only 14, 13 notes. May I request everyone to please make it fast, Asad? It will be good if you can do it fast. Okay, right now I have 58 votes done for the Python. Majority of them are like average and above average. I have deep learning framework installed on my PC, 16 votes for yes, 42 votes for no. I know the Git code and management system for 15 people, 40 for no. I have used deep learning framework. Around 14 have used Keras only. Around 10 people have tried different networks, frameworks like Keras, TensorFlow, PyTorch, and MXNet. Some of them have used only PyTorch only, like 12, and one vote for MXNet. PyTorch and TensorFlow around 50 nodes. I have GPU-based laptop PC. We have got around 37 votes with no and 21 votes with yes. Okay, with this, I just proceed for my today's talk. So we will be introducing about the Python and the deep learning. So let us start with a simple environment. So I'll be sharing my entire screen. Okay. So when we want to develop a Python based deep learning projects, for training the model, we are on the mercy of a powerful tool called GPU. So these GPUs are also known as GPGPUs, general purpose graphical processing units. Okay, if you see here, I have one GPU from NVIDIA. The other GPUs, which are not from NVIDIA, are not directly supported in many of the deep learning frameworks. So one of the bottleneck here is the hardware. So we require a GPU based system to train the models. As Dr. Hassan has explained in previous session, as Dr. Hassan has explained in previous session, that GPU, without GPU, you can do the inferencing of the model on only CPU system or low cost edge devices without GPU by compressing the model, or in a technical term, it is called quantization of the model. Means we do the training for a lot of time on a very big data on a very powerful PC or HPC cluster. After training that model, I can quantize that model and run on a low cost, low capacity device. Only CPU also is possible to run the very big models, but it is be done after quantization. Quantization is something like compression, reducing your model. Okay, reducing your model to a smaller size so that inference can be done with low yield or low hardware resources and low power technologies. Both are going to be considered here: low power technology and low capacity. So usually when we calculate the computing capacity, we call it teraflop. So teraflop, here flop is a floating point operation. Number of teraflops is going to be the capacity of the computer. So recent Jetson Orin gives you nearly 67 teraflop. So this is the latest Jetson Orin announced by the NVIDIA recently. Okay, which can do the 67 teraflop operations per second. Okay, so this also is an edge device, but very capable of running billion parameters and trillion parameters models also. After quantization, it is going to improve the performance. So we need to have a hardware which supports the system. If you want to install the PyTorch without GPU, it is also possible. So what we are going to discuss in today's class is following things. So this material will be shared with all of you. And if you have additional questions, which we could not take in the today's session during the presentation or after the presentation due to the time limitation, you can keep your questions in group actively, and we will respond to you in the groups also, if possible. So basically, before I go for deep learning development, I need to have certain resources. Okay, what I need to have first thing. First thing, I talked to you about the hardware capabilities. Your hardware capabilities should be CUDA enabled GPU and the operating system which supports the CUDA. So what is this CUDA? CUDA is a parallel library developed by NVIDIA to utilize this powerful hardware called GPU. If you see the GPU will have the thousand of cores, not one or two. Like unlike your CPU, which has few cores like 6, 10, 12, 24, one, like HPC servers maybe 128 cores. The CUDA enabled GPU will have thousands of cores. These cores can do the general operations also. That's why these GPU cores are called GPGPUs. Nowadays, a new hardware is coming along with the GPU, is called TPU. Okay, so TPU is nothing but a short form for tensor processing units. Tensor processing units. So basically, we require a hardware, and then we need to set up an our programming environment. We need to set up an programming environment. So if you have an CUDA enabled GPU, you can check in your device manager. And if you have the CUDA enabled GPU, you can go for CUDA installation. Okay. I'm not going into the details of the installation or showing the demo of the installation. I will share this doc with you. If you have any issues related with your installation, you can ask me in the group. So at the end, when you install, first thing what we need to do is we need to install the GPU enabled CUDA driver. Okay. Once you install the GPU enabled CUDA driver, your display system or display settings will have certain special options, okay, called NVIDIA control panel. If this is installed or if this is visible to you, then we can say that you have installed your NVIDIA enabled GPU graphics driver successfully. Am I audible? Sir, anybody can respond to me? Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So basically, if this control panel is available to you, it means that your device is successfully configured for graphics driver that is being installed. If this panel is not there or this system information is not available, then it means that you don't have the GPU properly configured. Okay. So basically, if you see here, the number of cores, CUDA cores, are 1024. This is not a very high-end GPU that we are using. Okay, this is basically not a training desktop or training HPC. In training HPC, what is another thing important in CUDA enabled GPU is the amount of video memory or GPU memory. So if you see here, you have two types of memory called dedicated GPU memory. Can you see my screen? This is actually your graphics
Yes, sir.
memory. This based on this memory, you can train the model. Model capacity training will be limited by this memory. Okay, the shared GPU memory is basically from your RAM. This will not be your original graphics memory. Your graphics memory here in this case is 4 GB. So normally the HPC which we use for training the custom models will be having around 80 GB graphics memory to train large parameters based deep learning network model. And this is the bottleneck. Why we cannot create a chat GPT? Because uh, it requires an intensive computing resources. Like basically, one node will have 8 GPU, 8 like 800, okay, which will not be called GPU only. It will be referred as accelerators in high computing industry, and it will not be having a graphics port actually like other GPUs. Okay, and it will be only configured for computational for deep learning frameworks. Okay, so remember this also limits your batch size that you can create during the deep learning training. Okay, so what is the first thing first? You need to check the resources with GPU or not. If it is with GPU, you need to install the latest graphics system and CUDA driver. Okay, yes. In some cases, you may need to sign in for the CUDA. If you have the educational plan, you will get lot of benefits and additional educational material. Once you install this CUDA toolkit successfully, you can copy the CUDA library into your programming environment. So before you install the CUDA library, basically you need to have the C++ compiler to be installed. Okay, so this basically when you download this CUDA library toolkit, whichever CUDA version you want, you can open. It will have the three files. Then you can copy this three files into your programming environment, and this will make your PC CUDA enabled. Any question here? Hello, hello, I am audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah, yeah, yes, sir, yes,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
yes,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
yes, sir.
Okay, so what is the first thing we need to have if we want to work on a local system? We need to have a GPU, which should be CUDA supported. Then we need to install the CUDA toolkit and CUDA library into our programming environment. Okay, so this is the first instructions that we have given to you. Okay, apart from that, what you require is your development environment. Okay, your development environment like IDE, you can select any of your choice. Usually, we use Jupyter commonly in ML use cases, or which is a browser-based library provided by the CUDA sorry, provided by the Anaconda. Okay, so apart from that, the most commonly used will be Visual Studio. Okay, Visual Studio free version also can be available, or you can go for education version if you have the education subscription in your institute. Then you have to install the Visual Studio as an IDE for your environment, or I prefer using PyCharm. So this can be of any of your choice, and I think every one of you are from a programming background, so every one of you know about this. Okay, so the after this, what we need to do is we need to install Anaconda. If your system does not support a big heavy Anaconda, then you can go for mini Anaconda. So earlier it was directly downloadable. Now you need to create an account, download the Anaconda installer, and then run the Anaconda installer. So once you install the Anaconda, you will get these two things: Anaconda Navigator and Anaconda Prompt. Are you following me? So when I connect to Anaconda Prompt, basically it is an Anaconda environment with all Python libraries, everything. So this is where I basically will be mostly working during my development. So if I have to check Python is installed or not, I can write Python, and you can see that my current Python installer is Python 3.11.7. Can you see it, or you need a magnifier? Okay, so basically, when I install the Anaconda, this is where I have the uh, Python built-in libraries. Here I can create a new environments based on the projects. So I'm going to just quit. Currently I'm not doing anything right now. So here let's go for Anaconda cheat sheet.
Good goody, good goody.
It's a PDF which gives you all the Anaconda commands. Okay, so if you are working with your Anaconda first time, you need to update your Anaconda. Conda update Conda. Okay, so it will connect to all the repositories and do the update. If you have to create a new environment, you can create your new environment using this command. Conda create minus minus name. This is the name of the environment, and this is which Python version you want it. Okay. So some of the important things that you need to install is git clone or pip. Pip will be by default installed, but git will not be installed by default. So to install the git, you require pip install package name. Here package name will be the git all. Okay, so any of the command based on your system that you are using. Okay, so right now I have the git installed. So I will tell you what is use of the git. So let me have my website. This is a all the these are the all the notebooks that I want to make use of today in my Python. Okay, let me share it with the coordinator. So if I have to clone this, so let me go to a different directory. So currently I am in FDP directory. Okay, can you see my FDP directory? Okay, now what I do is git clone, and I will type the name of the my GitHub link or the project which I want to copy. Okay, so what will happen is it will create a complete copy of this into my local directory. For the time being, those who doesn't have this git clone environment and all, they can directly click on code, download zip, and download this zip directory. Basically, I'll be using a Python folder for the today's session. Okay. So now, for ease of use, I have done the cloning, right? Where is that clone? Is on desktop. In desktop, I have created FDP folder. You can see all these files here. Can you see here? All your files are being downloaded. If you want to work locally, if you have not installed the Jupyter, you need to install a Jupyter, pip install Jupyter command. Okay. If you have installed the Jupyter, you can start the notebook. So in which directory I was working, in the same directory I will be open with the, so what is this? This is a Jupyter. What is a Jupyter? It's a browser based development environment. Okay, so this is how we can do the development environment opening in the local machine. Any doubt here? Can you respond to me if anything is not understood? So basically what we discussed is what should be in the local system if you want to run. First thing is you need to have GPU enabled CPU, PC or laptop. If you don't have the GPU enabled laptop, then also you can install Python and PyTorch Anaconda. But the training of the model will be slow. Remember this. If you don't have GPU, then also you can install Anaconda, you can install Visual Studio, and you can start your Jupyter, and you can do simple non-GPU based ML programming or simple neural network designs or some very small toy applications. But you cannot train any production model or you cannot do any productive research where you want to showcase some results. Okay. Due to the shortage of time, I will not be going through all the code we have planned. Okay. We have to stop by 9, right? Dr. Zakir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I have 25 minutes left.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So basically, this material will be shared with you. You can go through all this material. So Python programming, because Python is powerful multi-purpose programming language. Not only that, the amount of research already being produced in Python is so much that it cannot be replaced immediately. Even though assume that there is a large language model which can convert the program into another programming language is available, it will take at least 5 to 10 years down the line to go off from the scene. That much amount of research is being produced. You go to any CVPR paper, this is the one of the most reputed conference. So if you really want to do something, you need to follow this papers. So what is happening new in computer vision and pattern recognition is published here. Apart from that, there are many. This is not the only. Namely, they are called ICCV, ECCV, something like that. Okay. So, but one of the most premier conference is, or most of the premier place where the top research will be published is CVPR conference. Okay. So these conferences are producing the output or the research in Python. That's why this is more important. Like in previous decade, the research was happening in MATLAB, or earlier decades, it was only MATLAB. Okay. Now it is paradigm shift and research and the modern developments are happening in Python. So Python is going to stay for longer than what people are claiming. Why it is important? It is simple and easy to learn. It's free and open source. It's portable. You are running it on cloud, on edge. Hardware doesn't matter. You are running on platforms like Windows, Linux. It doesn't matter. It is extensible. It is embeddable to other languages to have the efficient code also, like compiled languages like C or Java. It is high level interpreted language, and main important thing why you need to focus it is it has a large community which is working in Python. Okay, so if you see the swap program, this is a swap program in Python. If you want to swap two numbers, okay, can you see my screen now better? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you want to swap the program, this is simple thing. Here, no cryptic semicolons, syntax errors, nothing. It will interpret till the next point of error. Okay. So if you see the Java program for swap, it has three statement, lot of cryptic code, particular way to initialize, and so many restrictive things. Okay, I'm not saying it's bad, but it's not very easy comparatively. So it is easy for development. Like you just have the pseudo language and you start mentioning what you are doing, and the things will happen automatically. Okay, so significant applications, we will be looking for deep learning applications. If you want to learn more, you can continue this tutorials that we have provided. Basically, these are Jupyter keyboard shortcuts. Okay, if you are using it in Google Colab, then you need to use Control M. Okay. If I am pressing B, I will get the cell code. If I have to write A is equal to okay. So this simple it is. Okay. So here, what I want you to focus on is okay, I have got another uh, file here called Colab tutorial. So this Colab tutorial is basically is a single tutorial to introduce the enough Python to be done by deep learning starter. Okay, if you want to start a deep learning, what you should understand. Okay, so here three things are important if you want to continue the next class, right? So go through these three things. What is the first thing? NumPy. Have you heard about, whenever you have heard discussed the deep learning, have you heard about linear algebra? Right? So whenever you
Yes,
talk
sir.
about deep learning, basically people talk about math. Okay, what is that math? Math basically something like matrix, manipulations, tensors, and linear algebra in short. Okay, so this linear algebra library is implemented using NumPy. Okay, so you have the exercises here. Okay, and other details about the NumPy. So let me focus on this short thing. So this is a Python tutorial given by Sanford for a course. If you want to Google this Colab, you can type CS 231N Python tutorial. Okay, for Google Colab, you will get this Colab. So if you want to check which Python you are using, In Google Colab directly you can run this command. The exclamation is to run the command. If you are not running the Python statement, you are running a system command, then in Jupyter or the what you say Google Colab, you have to use exclamation mark. Okay. For example, Python version. So this will tell me which version of the environment I'm using. So currently you have seen on the command line also my version was 3.11.7 because of same environment I have loaded the Jupyter notebook. So my Python is same. My Python version is same. If I remove this exclamation, okay, and now try to execute this, it will give me error because it's not a valid Python language statement. Okay. So when you run the command inside the Jupyter or the Google Colab, you will be using this exclamation mark and then the command. Okay. So let me get back to the point. So if you see very complex quicksort algorithm can be seen very simplified here. So what is this? This is a function. Function is defined with def keyword. Name of the function is quicksort. What it takes is an array. Okay, and this is a logic for quicksort. Okay, we are doing the recursion, of course, to use the divide and conquer method. So earlier, when you used to develop a software, you used to define algorithm and the data. So what is this? This is an algorithm. Okay, and what is this? What is this? This is the data. And when you have the algorithm and data, what you will get? You will get the results. What is a result? Sorted array. What is a result? A sorted array. The input was unsorted array and result is a sorted array, right? So earlier computer science algorithm used to work data plus algorithm is equal to result. Now what is deep learning? In deep learning, it is, excuse me for my typo. Now I have the data and the results and it will generate computer algorithm. What is the method? It uses deep neural networks or deep networks. Okay. So what is deep? Sorry, you cannot run these lines. So comment them. This is just for our reference. I hope you are following me. So in deep learning, instead of obtaining result or developing an algorithm, we feed the data and results to our programs to generate an algorithm. Means it will learn how to identify a cat automatically without specifying what are the patterns of the cat. How it will be done, that I will detail you tomorrow, next second session, that we call it classification. Classification means we should able to identify cat as a cat, differentiate cat versus dog, means any class or visual item that you see, in a image or a video, you should able to classify, means identify it what it is. This is a intelligence of 3-year-old human kid. If you show him a cat, he will identify a cat next time. So basically, when you are showing the cat and telling him, that kid, that this is a cat, you are doing the training, or kid is doing the learning. So how to develop this algorithm? Through training or learning. Okay, both of the terms are used to get this algorithm. Then this algorithm, we call it model and use it multiple times. So training time can be high, but inference time should be low to make it usable. Any doubt here? So let me go back to the CS computer notebook. So basically you understood that Python is very powerful. You can specify the complex algorithm in a pseudocode like language. Okay, what are the basic data types? Integers. Okay. What are the operations? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, exponent. Okay. This is equivalent to x is equal to x plus 1. Okay. This is equivalent to, yeah, these are called shorthand notations. Okay. X is equal to x into 1. Okay. Apart from integer, these are the operations on integer. These are the operations on, these are float. This is a float point variable. Okay. We have booleans also, true and false. So value of t is true, value of f will be false. You can do the logical operations on them, on boolean operations. Then you have a data type called a string. Okay. These are the important data types. Containers, list. The container includes several built-in container types like list, dictionaries, sets, and tuples. So list, tuple. So basically dictionary and sets and tuples are explained subsequently. So now important concept is called slicing. Slicing is taking out a required information from a given information. Suppose this is an array. Okay. If I want a particular range of the items, say item 2 to 4, so the indexing starts with 0. So 0, 1, 2, 2 starts with 2, but it will not go to 4, up before 4, up to, not up to 4, till 4. Okay, so 2 and 3 will be sliced. So this slicing will be very important when you are dealing with linear algebra or the matrices. So basically, what is an image? What is an image? So image mathematically is nothing but a real number set of order m comma n if it is a 2D matrix. So matrix is nothing but a image is nothing but a matrix. Image is nothing but a matrix. So each pixel will have a real value. Okay, and m and n, it denotes the resolution of an image. M and n denotes an resolution of an image. Can you tell me in the chat box how mathematically we can represent an RGB or color image? Are you there? What is mathematically an image? Okay, very good, Kumari, Deepika. It is nothing but a rank. It is like a 2D matrix, 3D matrix with a three channels of type m and n. Okay, one channel refers to a red value, another channel refers to green, and another channel refers to blue. Basically, it is nothing but three 2D matrices or one 3 into m into n matrix. So the same thing when we take it to deep learning, we convert it to tensor. So this tensor will be loaded to GPU. Okay, when we bring it to main memory, we want to calculate this in a fast way. So for fast way, we use a library called NumPy. So this is a single number, then this number will be converted into NumPy object. Okay, this NumPy object is converted into tensor. So this value from the image will be converted into NumPy for faster handling of the data on our program, and will be used as a tensor during deep learning programming. Will be used into a deep learning programming. So basically, how to handle NumPy, we will learn from a NumPy tutorial given in our syllabus, and how to handle tensor we will learn in tomorrow's class called PyTorch framework. Is this clear? So we have the loops. This is the shortest possible tutorial. Okay. So if you know also, please go through them. It is self-explanatory. I will share the detail HTML page for the Stanford also, Stanford course. You can refer that also. I have 5 minutes remaining now. So what I can do is I will explain you what we should able to understand. So tomorrow, before I discuss anything, I expect you to tell me what is class and object. Basically, the Python also can be used in a object oriented programming way, and it uses the classes. If you have seen the data type, even integer was a class. Okay, means you can introduce a new data type also, right? So when I was discussing about a integer, you can see int type x means class int. So everything here we use as a class. Then class can be used as an inheritance. It has lot of possibilities. So always try to develop your program in form of modular program. For modularization, use the object oriented techniques. Okay, so the simple techniques here have been explained in this documentation for class inheritance. Okay, and another thing that your code when comes across a problem, it should not crash. Okay, so if anyone have a question, can I run this without having a GPU on my laptop? Yes, entire thing you can do on your laptop without a GPU, because it doesn't start with deep learning. The only thing is you need to install the Anaconda or necessary Python environment. Okay, and you need to have certain method, like this is what you see is a Visual Studio IDE. This is what you see is Jupyter IDE. Okay, So can I use this directly? Yes, you can go for Google Colab. You can go for Google Colab. This is a free environment or free GPU available to you for a limited time. For Indians, you can even purchase a additional additional resources to do the training online. So if you want to go for higher versions for training your model for paper or for certain investigations, you can purchase Colab Pro. This is not available for all the countries like Malaysia. It's not available, but it is available for India. Okay. So Google Colab Pro also can be purchased, and without purchase also you can run this program, all these programs without installing anything onto your system. Without installing anything onto your system. So there are two ways. You can copy all the files into your Google Drive and then load the drive and open the programs, or directly you can open from GitHub. Okay, give the GitHub link. So remember what to do. Open Google Colab, go to File, go to Open Notebook, click on GitHub, give the link. Okay. So all the files are available to you from this repository. Okay. Your task is only to go through day one, Python programming related files. Okay. So once you set OK, you are open the file successfully. You can run here directly. When you say run anyway, basically you are connecting to the Google Cloud environment or GCP, Google Cloud Platform. And when you need the GPU for small trainings and inference, we can use the GPU from here. Okay, these are the active sessions. So if you have to do the deep learning, then you have to select the GPU. Okay, remember that when you are not doing the deep learning, don't use the GPU. It will waste the resource, because even if you are connected to instance, it will considered as utilization. Okay. I stop with this. Any queries and questions you can ask me. I am expecting some questions and I am ready with some predefined answers. If you don't ask the question, I will ask the question and try to serve you. Okay. I am open to the floor. Can you mute your mics if you are not talking?
Some question has been asked in the chat box.
Okay.
Hello, sir. Sir, myself Mohammed Ali. Sir, I want
Yes.
to ask one question.
Okay, please proceed.
Okay, sir. Actually, I don't have installed in Jupyter in my laptop. I have
Okay.
only Python ideally. Uh, as we can execute our deep learning model or program, what you have explained with this ideally or not, I have to install all those things.
Muhammad Halim, I want to clarify. IDE is for only editing the programs.
Okay, sir.
What is important is you need to have the framework. The deep learning framework without CPU also can be installed. Like I told you about the PyTorch. Okay. So,
I have to install Jupyter platform for. I must have.
okay, please complete your question.
Sir, I must install Jupyter framework to execute deep learning programs or algorithms.
You can do everything online also. Like Prof has already told you multiple platforms like Kaggle, Paperspace, and what I have given the demo today is a demo for Google Colab.
Okay,
Okay. So
okay,
here is the tutorial which
okay,
we want you to go through, right? And how
okay,
to open it already I have shown you.
okay, okay,
Okay. And how
okay,
to enable a GPU in Google Colab, that also
okay,
already I've shown you. When
okay,
we will be doing the next program, because
okay,
today I got shortened by half an hour,
okay,
so I could not go through the details. Okay.
okay, okay,
Tomorrow, in our second session, we will be running some practical examples with images, but those images will be from predefined library. Okay.
okay, okay, sir. Thank you.
So all the files that I've shown you is prepared for you, will be shared by the coordinator. Okay. You want to access the GitHub has a full training program that Dr. Hassan has introduced you, that we have conducted a professional certificate for Malaysian Space Agency and others. You can also access all that complete set of code. Uh, and if you have any queries, problems, you can make use of a group as a discussion section. Not necessarily me or Dr. Zakir has to answer. Anybody know this answer will serve you. Okay. Basically, the idea of this workshop is in 6 days, we will not be fully ready, but we will start. So to become fully ready, we need to collaborate for future too. That is an idea, that this is just an ice breaking method where we start, we develop some interest, and then we take it forward for next 6 months. Then definitely you can have some publication, you can have the some vision, broadly how to apply this vision algorithms. All that will be possible later. Okay, I have.
Actually, sir, actually, I am the new one, and I just want to explore myself in
Yeah.
deep
So,
learning. That is my.
Mr. Ali, to cut short because I have to take a few more
Okay,
questions.
okay, sir.
You
Okay, sir.
can use the Google Colab for now for our
Okay.
material provided. Okay. Any confusion here? Okay. Next question. Can moderator guide me to the questions that I need to take some important critical questions?
How CODA toolkit is for NVIDIA? What
Hmm.
is the toolkit which we can use for Intel Iris graphics, which will be utilized for training high-end deep learning models?
Okay. Unfortunately, NVIDIA has become a proprietary for this deep learning frameworks. Okay. However, um, Apple has produced some GPUs which can be supported by PyTorch framework. So currently in the market, we have only two options to use: NVIDIA tools or the uh, Apple GPUs. Okay, so these are the only possible two means right now. So all the data centers, machine learning, cloud platforms. Everyone is capable with these accelerators. Intel has few accelerators which have different libraries. Okay, that we don't want to go into the detail for right now. So unfortunately, Intel Iris graphics cannot be directly used as such of now in PyTorch framework that we are going to discuss. Okay.
The next question is, what is the use of tensors?
Okay, tensors, actually, whole syllabus cannot be discussed in 2 hours. It will be discussed in coming days. As I already briefed you, when you want to move the data to the GPU, you repackage it in the form of tensors so that it can process it faster. Tensor is nothing but a mathematical term like matrix. So matrix is also a tensor. So all the data that you have, your whole data set can be a tensor of certain order. So basically, what rank of the tensor, it defines the type of the dimension of the data is being used. Is that clear? So what is a tensor? Tensor is nothing but multi-order data representation or a data structure, which is used by our GPU and GPU-based deep learning framework libraries.
Okay, the next question is, without GPU, if we install CUDA, then we can we able to deploy deep learning models?
You can do the inference for some models based on the capacity of your CPU. But there will be certain performance degradation if you don't compress your models or do the quantization. Am I right?
Okay, sir. The next one is, if Colab is idle for more than 9 hours, we need to run the session cells from the beginning, like downloading the dataset from the beginning, though we could have done some work. How to avoid this problem?
Okay, usually what we do is we create the checkpoints after each epoch. We run the save the checkpoints of the trained model. When we restart, we resume the training. Yeah, some degradation will be there in the performance compared to continuous training, but it will work like this. You understand? We create a checkpoint. When our machine crash, what is the latest checkpoint will be saved into our Google Drive or the attached storage. Okay, if it is integrated environment, means connected my local machine to the cloud, Google Colab. Okay, then this checkpoint will be used to resume the training, not from starting.
Okay, sir. Then so for deep learning, can we use TensorFlow and Keras instead of PyTorch?
Basically, as I told you, it's matter of your choice. You use TensorFlow, PyTorch, or MXNet, or you create your own framework. Okay, if you are capable of doing so. It's not about the frameworks. It's about the model that we train, the parameters or the design of the network that is going to matter. But for sake, Keras is limited because it is a wrapper to the TensorFlow. So Keras is in general cannot be used for big projects. Okay. And when you want to continue the research, for example, when I started research, I have done my courses on Keras and TensorFlow. But when I wanted to use certain research as my base paper, their research was in PyTorch. So now, what is that good idea to rewrite the tool of thousands, no, hundreds of thousand language lines of code, rewrite it into TensorFlow? Obviously not. So don't restrict yourself to a framework as such. Framework is just a framework. Okay, identify the concepts, and when you want to use it. So why I'm preferring PyTorch in my course? I'm preferring PyTorch in our course is because most of the output produced in the CVPR or the latest research uses the PyTorch framework. Okay, if you find it's a matter of choice, if you want to use TensorFlow, is also possible. It's not like you cannot use TensorFlow or Keras. Usually, the high-end models are developed in PyTorch. Then we do the quantization and convert them into TensorFlow light models, and then deploy it to the edge devices. So you should be not rigid for particular model, a framework. That is my advice.
Sir, next questions are very simple. That will be answered in the subsequent sessions.
Okay.
So I request Afsar sir to thanks our resource person. Sir,
Rimaz,
Yes, sir.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam, sir.
Ramesh sir, yeah,
Yes, sir. Nice hearing you, sir.
nice to hear you. We'll talk later.
Okay, sir.
Okay. We'd like to extend our sincere gratitude to Dr. Rimaz for delivering an incredibly deep and insightful session on the models and programming perspective of deep learning. Your expertise and clarity in explaining these advanced topics have greatly enhanced our understanding of the subject. The practical insights and detailed explanation you provided have truly enriched our knowledge and inspired us to delve further into this field. We hope to have very detailed sessions in the upcoming days. I hope all your queries and questions will be answered thoroughly by all the resource person. I request all the participants to be actively interact with the resource person in the further session also. So thank you for sharing your valuable time and expertise with us, sir. Your session was both impactful and memorable. Thank you, Rimas, sir.
Thank you, sir. I didn't get any feedback on the chat window. If it
The feedback is shared in the form of Google form link. So once the feedback has been received, I will definitely share the responses to you, sir. I request all the participants to join back into the session tomorrow on time, and with all the enthusiasm today you have shown. We are very happy for that everybody has stick with us till the end, even without the break. Okay, so we are very thankful to all the participants. Thank you once again. Have a good night.